Primetime television. It's at the heart of everything American pop culture. Our heroes, our sweethearts, our villains. While television has produced some of the greatest moments in American pop culture history,
I am the one who knocks.
It's built on a platform of racism and alienation. One that has oppressed people of color and minorities since before the first cameras ever started rolling. White males have been the forefront of our idea of a hero, and as a result, minorities have been kicked to the curb. It's no shock to anyone that America has a conflicted past. From the days of slavery to Jim Crow to the Civil Rights era, racism is ingrained in the country's DNA. When television was introduced, it began to serve as a reflection of that discrimination. At the forefront of most major television shows is the traditional hero, most notably the white male. He's been portrayed on television as the best representative of a strong American, determined, altruistic, heroic. White men have been the leads for countless primetime television shows, including The Andy Griffith Show, MASH, Mad Men, Seinfeld, and Everybody Loves Raymond.
I miss Ray.
Their constant presence in pop culture reaffirms in society's minds that these should be our idols. They're the good guys. If you don't take my word for it, look at Colette and Greenberg's analysis on the changing faces on television. They look at 30 years of primetime television, analyzing over 650 programs and 1,700 characters. They categorize them by race, gender, occupation, and age. Colette and Greenberg concluded that over 3 decades of television, white males were consistently presented as educated, dominant, and wealthy, significantly more than any other race.
Gentlemen, before you leave, can I just say something?
I don't know, Don. Can you?
So where do people of color fit in all of this? It's not like they haven't been featured in a number of primetime television shows. The problem is, because stories are often portrayed through the white man's perspective, stereotypes are often used as a crutch. The way a person of color fits into the story is by embodying society's worst imagination of them.
Yes, I am a citizen. Now which way to the welfare office? What? I'm kidding, I work.
Prominent author and historian Gary Williams explains in his analysis of decades of primetime television that people of color have always struggled to get proper representation on television. According to Williams, minorities have often been relegated to comedies or stereotypical roles. African Americans in particular are demonized, often perceived as poor decision makers who are prone to violence and crime. Whether it's through their comedic stupidity or thuggish nature, Williams finds that minorities are on screen to serve as an accent to the white character's personality. These stereotypes solidify the idea that no one else but a white person can be normal. This quote-unquote normal gives white actors the freedom to pursue any role. They're not restricted to the stereotypes of their race. They don't represent the unknown or the mysterious. But the same opportunity is not offered to people of color. Minorities must often rely on a specific trope as they're into the industry. Take, for example, the scene in Master of None. The main character, Dev Patel, reflects his discomfort in only pursuing stereotypical Indian roles. Because Patel is an aspiring actor in the show, the episode reflects a microcosm of the current acting industry.
You see The Social Network? The Indian guy is a white guy. They use brown face makeup.
No, I read that he's 1/16th Indian.
We're all 1/16th something. I'm probably 1/16th black. You think they're gonna let me play Blade?
If stereotypes in primetime television perpetuate racism, why have they endured? Well, first, minorities are the unknown. They represent religions and cultures the average American may not be familiar with. Even if they're overgeneralized, stereotypes are a quick way to get a snapshot of who a character is. Second, stereotypes are an easy laugh. Racism is no doubt offensive, but America has shown it doesn't care, especially if they find it funny. Take, for example, Jay Leno's set on The Tonight Show, where he pokes fun at Mexican immigrants.
The largest news gathering outlet in the world will no longer use the term illegal immigrant. That is out. No longer illegal immigrant. now use the phrase undocumented Democrat. That is the new word, undocumented Democrat.
Otto Santa Anna, a UCLA professor on Chicano studies, broke the set down, explaining how Leno uses humor to give the audience a superiority over immigrants. Anna rationalizes that the audience's laughter is a simple release of joy, a feeling of being better than the outsider. In 2012, Kerry Washington, star of the ABC political drama Scandal, became the first black woman to lead a network drama in nearly 4 decades. While diversity has improved on screen, there are still major strides to be made. Organizations like GLAAD have started tracking hundreds of television characters and reporting their portrayals on screen to the public. Zeke Stokes, vice president of programs at GLAAD, says this is the first step to holding the industry responsible. He says, quote, "It's one thing to know something, but to see it in writing and reported in the media, I think awakens the industry to a different level of consciousness. Not only do they want to do better because it's the right thing to do, but they want to do better because there can be consequences if they don't." Rashad Robinson, executive director for the civil rights advocacy group Color of Change, says when he's helping television executives with scripts, he's making sure they're sharing fresh perspectives. He says, quote, "We look for representations that are authentic, fair, and have humanity, where black people are not the side script to larger stories and are not just seen through white eyes." Both of these diversity consultants agree on one point. For primetime television to reflect the real USA, Americans need to embrace the melting pot. If minorities are given an opportunity to be more than just their race or religion on screen, America's perception of what and who is normal will expand. Minorities will no longer have to be viewed through stereotypes, but as everyday Americans with complexities and faults like the rest of us. With increasingly diverse stories, casts, and crews, the us versus them mentality disappears. It's time to change the channel on television's biggest problem.